So we'll start with a really basic drill. I've taught this a few times at some seminars, and I've seen some familiar faces, so it's going to be a little bit familiar, and then we'll kind of branch off. So I'm just going to sit on my butt, nice and lazy. My partner's going to be squared, right? Because there's two ways they can stand, squared or staggered, right? So for the first drill, actually before we go with the first drill, you might have been here yesterday and heard me say it. What is my definition of base for jiu-jitsu? Connection to the ground, right? And for leverage, my definition is your ability to move something or to not be moved, right? So this very basic drill is just going over that concept. I go to push and put the weight on this leg. Now this leg becomes light. It's easy for me to lift, right? Now there's no connection to the ground here, so when I push her this way, she's gonna fall. And that's a sweep in jiu-jitsu, right? So we're here, I'm gonna push. My partner's not gonna step, they're gonna try to stay grounded, right? So I can put all the weight here, now this becomes light enough for me to lift. I hold it on my hip, so now she can't put it back on the ground. Now I just push the inside of her leg and I bring her down. This concept is gonna relate to the way I like to do the hook sweep. Okay, it's a little bit different. Single leg takedowns, single leg sweeps and stuff like that. All right, very basic, we'll start with that. 1, 2. So that's jiu-jitsu, that's the sweep, and guard, okay? So jiu-jitsu is simple if you do it right. Okay, if you do it wrong, it's really hard. So I don't want to try to lift her leg off the ground, right? I'm using a lot of strength, not technique, right? At some point, you're not going to be young, you're going to get old. And I realize that, so that's why I start to use a lot of technique now, not so much strength and speed, okay? It's fun to do it every once in a while, but technique will get you through the hard times, right? So, very basic first drill, okay? And that's just kind of lets you understand like how I like to do all my sweeps that are a little bit different than how you might have learned them originally, right? And not that anything's ever wrong in jiu-jitsu, right? If it works, it's right, okay? I just found the way that I feel is a little bit more efficient to do it. If you like it, add it to your game. If you don't, throw it out. Okay? So again, just go close guard real quick. So obviously, close guard is the best guard, okay, for street purposes and for sport, okay, even tournaments, because I could be faking like I'm doing something. If she doesn't open my guard, she'll get stalling points. I will never get stalling points, okay. Not that you want to play the stalling game, but that's just the way it is. If she tries to punch me, she's closer to me, so I can always pull her in, start to defend and lock her arms up, and now I can't get hit, right? But let's say my partner does a good job of not letting me break their posture down and she starts to stand, right? So as she starts to stand, however she stands up, I'm gonna open my guard before she opens it, right? So I'm already ahead of the game and her posture is already broken from her trying to stand up. So since she's squared, we have one of two sweeps. We're gonna have our balloon sweep and we're gonna have our double ankle sweep, right? And that's all I look for when the person's squared. So if I'm only looking for two things, my anticipation is going to be a lot better and my reaction is going to be a lot quicker. And it's going to be harder for them to defend. So very basic sweep, I'm sure you've done it before. When I go to pull her in, I'm bringing my knees to my chest. And I'm kind of opening like I'm flapping my wings to get her hands way over my shoulders, right? Here. Now I just push her up just a little bit and then I circle the hands down. I'm not trying to push down this way, okay? When I push down this way, she's gonna fall a little bit weird and it's gonna be hard for me to come to a good clean mount, right? When I go this way, it's a lot easier. Now, all I'm doing is a backwards roll and she's doing a forwards roll. So I'm not going to do this to push her away because now when I try to come up, she's gonna get me in half guard or some type of configuration, right? So, this way. Right, guard opens, I pull, lift just a little bit, and now I'm gonna do a backwards roll and I stay connected to her the whole time. Then I extend my legs and I can come up to a nice clean mount. Okay? So, again, this way. She's standing squared. I'm gonna pull. Notice how I'm not trying to lift that. If I try to lift, I'm using a lot of strength in my legs. Okay? And now my legs are really straight, and if I go for my sweep, she's gonna be way too far away. I wanna keep that connection close. So I pull her in, right? And it's like I'm loading up a spring. Now I can lift just enough to get her feet off the ground. Then I push her hands back. She's gonna roll, I'm gonna roll. Does that make sense? All right, very, very simple. 1, 2. This is easy if you do it right. So you can sit so they can't, you're not in the way. All right, so when I do this balloon sweep, the way I do it a little bit different, right, is I don't use my legs to extend the person. So all I'm doing, right, I pull them in, and now they're loaded onto my legs. I want to keep this connection the whole time. All I'm doing is I transfer, and I can use my elbows to help myself go back. And as I backward roll, I extend my legs to come up to a nice clean mount, right? So my legs are not doing this. I'm not going here and then launching to come, right? The person's way too far away. Or you're ending up in like, you got it so separated. The whole point is to stay connected to your opponent, right? I can sweep, get mount and armbar, or choke right away. Make sense? It's easier to finish the fight if you end up in a good position. Right? A lot harder if you're inside that guard, now you have to work past that guard and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Right? So one more time, what I'm doing, we're here, okay? Also with my feet, I saw some people like pointing their toes up towards the person's face. It's going to be very hard to have good control over the person. I want to kind of use my, the bottom of my feet like my palms. Like I'm trying to cup their hips, right? So I'm not keeping them straight. I'm cupping and forming my feet to her hips. So I should be able to go here and control her however I like, right? But it's because my feet are in the right place. Does that make sense? Right? And all I'm doing, pushing her hands down, look how my knees are still really close to my chest. They're not up here. Close to my chest, I do a backwards roll. Then when I come on top, I extend my legs so they don't get caught up in her arms. Okay? 1, 2. So the only way, not the only way, but one of the ways they're gonna stop the balloon sweep, allow sweep, overhead sweep, whatever you want to call it, is by walking her feet forward, right? Which gives me the option to do my double ankle, right? So I'm also going to remove my feet off of her hips. I'm going to shoot them past her hips. Because what's stopping her from walking forward are my feet and hips. She can't, right? So when I go to pull, everything's the same with my arms, right? Like I'm flapping my wings here, okay? But I'm going to shoot my feet past her hips. But she has to step forward to regain her base, so she's going to hit her face on the mat, which people usually don't want to do that. Now I grab, my knees stay together, and I kind of try to touch my toes together. So she tries to back out, right? She's not going anywhere. Now I use my knees to push her over, and I keep my feet tight. She can't attack my ankles from here because they're tucked tight to her back. So she doesn't want to get swept. She's going to try to stand back up. So I just make a mirror image. Okay? But this side of the mirror looks a lot better. Whenever leg is behind her back, that knee goes down, other foot stays flat. I can come right up to technical mount, right? The reason I don't just try to bring both legs down is because my foot's going to get caught under her back. So if I start to do this, now it's caught under her back, I can't be mobile to attack what I need to attack. So I swept her, I wait, she's going to pick a side, pick a side, here I am. The foot that's in front, that foot goes flat on the mat. The one that's behind, that knee goes down. Right? I can go right into my armbar, or I can go right into a back kick from here. Okay? So, one more time. You're here. Keeping her away, pull her in. Right? She's going to try to back out. I don't let her. My knees come up to her chest, push her down. She tries to sit up. She doesn't want to get swept. Now I can come up. If she stays here, perfect. I can start to attack the back right away. Right? One more time. This way. So my feet are on her hips, keeping her away. I pull her in, let my feet shoot past. My knees come together right away. I'm not trying to pull her back down in a close guard. Then I turn my feet in to kind of hook her back so now she can't back out, and I grab her ankles. Try to back out. She's not going anywhere. She actually gives me the feet as she tries to escape the position. She picks her side. Right? Mirror image. Okay? So now this foot goes flat, this knee goes down. Right? Now I can take the back, I attack the arm. Totally up to you. If she turns in, then I just have mount. Alright? 1, 2. I get here, sweep. So what prevents her from pinching her knees and going for a heel hook, right? One, we're in the gi, so she can't heel hook me. But two, go to heel hook me. Go to pinch your knees and heel hook me, right? No way. Even if she locks up my heel, go ahead, lock up my heel. Right, go to finish. My knee's free. She doesn't have my knee in place, so I can start to push and come up. So I'm not worried about that, right? But also, if I was doing no gi, I wouldn't sweep this way. Because you get someone who's really good at attacking legs, maybe they can start to lock your leg up, but not to worry about it. Again, she goes to come up, so it doesn't matter. The other question, do you go over, under, or over? It doesn't matter. Whatever I get, right? She starts to sit up, and I see her sitting up this way, maybe I get on top, doesn't matter. Okay. I just don't have access to the back now. But I have the armbar turn. Make sense? You want to keep drilling or move on to the next one? Keep on? Keep drilling? All right, a few more times. 1, 2. So, someone asked me how many points is that? That's a 6-point turnaround, right? 2 for the sweep, 4 for mount. Right? With a very basic sweep that you guys have seen before, double ankle, maybe just a little bit different on the execution, right? And why, someone also asked, can I just take the momentum and come up right away? Sure you can, right? But I like to wait a second because when I wait, it gives me an opportunity to get to the back or to attack the armbar. Does that make sense? Right? There's no rush in jiu-jitsu, okay? So we're here, I get my sweep, and if I try to come up, If I try to come up right away, sometimes you end up in a funky position, right? So here, and now she starts to push me away, and now I'm leaving, and now it's hard for me to come up nice and clean, right? So obviously nothing happens that clean when you're actually training, but the cleaner your execution is, the more likely you're gonna be able to come into a great position. So when she goes to sit up, right, now I can start to go and take my time and start to attack the back right away, right? The other question was, you sit on your butt, okay, is after I sweep them, what if they stiff arm? Grab the collar and stiff arm. So now it's hard for me to come into it, right? So think about your basic arm bar from mount when the person goes to push you off. That's all I'm doing here. Wrap, throw my shin, and I have my arm. So it's the same thing you learned probably, first few months in jiu-jitsu when you have the person mounted, they grab your gi, and they're going to throw you off to the side, right? I hit my armbar. So it's the same exact thing. Because technically, I'm kind of a mount in that position, right? We're here, this is kind of mount, right? So she goes to push me where I can't come up, right? She's stiff arming and she's posting. She's giving me this arm. Boom. I can finish it here, or I can start to fall to my side and finish. If she rolls, I throw the leg over. So drill down a little bit since it was a question, and it's a good question, and then we'll move to the next one. All right, 1, 2. Everyone following so far? Yep. All right, so let's move on. So the way she's gonna stop the balloon sweep and the double ankle sweep is by standing staggered, okay? So she opened up my guard, we're here, and the way, again, she's gonna stand staggered, because now it's going to be a little bit harder for me to lift her overhead without throwing it in like a De La Riva, right? And we're trying to stay very basic for now. So once she goes staggered, I don't want her to be able to step both legs back, right? And push my legs down and start to hit her pass. So once that happens, I control the angle. Keep it close to my butt, right? My other foot is going to hide behind. Now, I don't care if her hand's outside or inside. It's totally up to you. Okay, I have people asking this question all the time. It's preference. Some things in jiu-jitsu don't matter, right? And this is one of them. So from here, traditionally people do the hook sweep. They push the person away. Maybe they're here, maybe they're here. I've seen it done both ways. But they push them away and now they're trying to get on top, right? Once I let go of her ankle, she's coming right back up. There's no way I'm going to be able to control her. Unless she's accepting, to play guard. Which, you're training hard or you're going into competition, they're not going to stay down. They're going to try to get back up. So I come here, now she's pushing to get back up, and there's no way. So when I hit my hook sweep, we're gonna go back to that concept of base and displacement, right? So if I wanna lift this leg up, I'm gonna put all the weight on that leg, now I can lift it and put it in my pocket, right? Put your foot back down, then I twist. make her fall. Now I don't leave my foot hanging out here, I circle it inside. I'm still a little bit too far away for my liking, so I scoot in. My shin is putting pressure on the inside of her thigh and I'm pulling here. Go to come up, Jeff. Come up. Ground ball right now, come up. So, with the pressure on the inside of her thigh and the foot being off the mat, she's not gonna be able to come up. Right? I have to keep my grip, there's no rush. I'm not rushing, I have time, okay, it's gonna be okay. Now I'm gonna do a half technical stance. So that means I come to my elbow and my knee instead of my hand and my foot. Now I can come up and start to worry about how I'm gonna pass the dart. Okay? Pass however you like to pass. But we're here, she's staggered, I can control the foot and hide my other foot. Okay? I put all her weight on that leg, so I'm kind of twisting and turning her hips that way. The same way we did in that beginning drill. I put her foot in my pocket, and the inside of my leg is what's pushing her leg to that side, like we did in that drill, right? Instead of my hand doing it, I circle my foot inside, scoot in. Going to come up? Can't come up. Okay? Now I do a half technical stand. I come to my knee, now I just have to come up and pass however you like. Very, very basic. A little bit different than how you may have learned it, but I found it to be a little bit more efficient. And so, try it. 1, 2. Let's cover one detail that I see a few people missing. Okay. We get here. When I'm in my hook sweep position, right? I want to get this foot off the floor. If her foot is still on the floor, she has a good base, she might be able to stop the sweep, right? So I'm pushing everything that way. Now the foot's off the ground. Put your foot back down. I keep it glued with my elbow and my hand to my hip, right? So when she goes, if she even goes to stomp it down, I'm still putting her weight on that leg until I'm ready to make her fall. Now I twist everything this way, and notice how I'm kind of scooting in as I do that, right? My foot's still on her hip. I don't let it drop outside. My foot's here. Okay. Now I can circle it inside, put my foot down, and do my technical stand, or my half stand, right? So I'm not coming up to my hand on this side, right? If I do this, she's gonna start to come up. Okay. So I keep my grip on her ankle. I keep my grip on the sleeve, and I keep my shin connected to it. So I have 3 points of contact with my partner. Then I can escape my knee. Now go try to come up. I'm not gonna lift. I'll start to finish my feet to get my kick. Does that make sense? So I'm not in a rush. Again, we're not in a rush. Okay. If I get here and the person has a really good posture up, like get on your hand, and they give me trouble, like they're scooting in and I don't feel comfortable, right? Then I can always start to attack. I can triangle armbar from here. Right? So I either get my sweep or she fights it really well and then I take my submission. So I always like to do my submissions off of trying to sweep the person, right? Because they're trying to regain their base, and most likely when they're trying to regain their base, something becomes extended. Does that make sense? Okay. A few more times. 1, 2. Running a little bit out of time, so I'll show the follow-up to that sweep, and then we'll revisit the triangle because everyone wants to see the triangle. So, I actually hit that. That's like really high percentage. I've hit it in competition before, that triangle. People don't expect it. They're just trying to fight to get back up, and then boom. They're like, oh crap. I should have took the 2 points, right? So we're here. 1, 2. And I was going to show the sweep there. So we're here. The only way she's going to defend this hook sweep, right, is by putting all her weight on this leg. So she's going to be really heavy and driving her knee to the back of my thigh. Now, it's almost impossible for me to put the weight on that leg without me kind of bursting in energy. But if I burst in energy, I lose connection. And we don't want to lose connection, right? So I try to push. I can't. Perfectly fine. I keep the tension in my leg so she keeps fighting that. Now I transfer, right? Jacare used to say this saying in Portuguese. I always say this. I'm going to forget it, so I'm not going to say it now. But it means one hand washes the other, right? So I don't let go and try and reach because there's no way I'm going to get that grip. So 1, 2. Now I rotate. Now when I rotate for my sickle sweep, notice how I'm not pushing off to do a hip escape. I'm just pivoting. My knee that was hooked, the same leg that's hooked behind, that knee it's gonna point down towards the mat. So I'm not doing this. I don't have a good angle. I go all the way on my side, okay? Now, there's different ways people like to show the sickle sweep. The way I like to grab over instead of under, and you'll see why in a second. So I grab here. Again, I'm not in a rush. I trap her ankle, right? Now I push her over. As I push her over, I'm pulling on the sleeve. That's gonna help me come up, right? It's a half guard. You don't come up in a great position, but you get your 2 points, right? So, this way, going for my hook sweep. She's putting all the weight there. I keep that tension so she keeps pushing back into me, so it's easy for me to rotate. I trap. I'm not trying to kick and push. I trap it as quickly as possible. Go to take your foot out. Now I can trace her foot because I'm connected. I keep pulling. I just push her over and come out nice and slow. Does that make sense? Right? So real quick, the reason I like to grab on top instead of under, right? Because when I get here, when I go to trap, if she steps her foot out before I'm able to trap, now I have a hook sweep on the other side. Okay? This is an easy transfer right into the hook sweep. But if I was under, now I have to kind of switch my grips back and forth. Okay? 1, 2. Everyone following so far? Right, it shouldn't be brand new stuff, right? It's just a little spin on the stuff that you guys should already know. Basic stuff. So let's kind of revisit that triangle off of the hook sweep, right? You stand up. So I'm in my position, transfer the weight, twist, right, and I get close. Okay? So maybe she's stiff arming me, maybe she's not, okay? I can still pull the arm, but she's doing a good job of scooting her hips towards me, so it's hard for me to come up. Okay, so I'm going to scoot away just a little bit, and I retract the foot that's under her leg and place it on her hip. That's going to give me the leverage to bring my hips up, and I'm going to shoot this leg around. Now I can try. Okay. I can fall back and finish, or I can push over. Okay. I like to push over because now they're on the hip, it's harder for them to defend. I just squeeze my knees, or I take my arm. Quick detail, since we're talking about triangles, right? Just get on your knees. I don't like to underhook legs and arms and all that. I don't like to change my angle. Some people are very flexible and they throw the legs over your body and it gets really annoying, right? So the detail on finishing a triangle and locking it up tight is covering this shoulder, right? If I don't cover this shoulder, I could be squeezing as hard as I want and she has a little bit of space to breathe, right? So my job is to cover that shoulder and then I clamp. Now there's no space for her to breathe. Then it's just me pinching my knees together to finish, right? If I'm here, now that's when you have to like pull the head and crank on the head and all that, right? Wasting energy. So maybe I'm here and I'm trying to adjust. I can always control my shin and twist. Now when I jump up, my leg is connecting to her head first and then I clamp it down. Now her shoulder's covered. Now it's a very simple squeeze to finish because everything's compressed around her neck. When the shoulder's involved, I can squeeze as hard as I want. That's how people are getting out of triangles and not tapping. Then they're standing up, they're throwing the leg over your body and all that other crap. Or they're controlling the knee, right, and pulling it to the mat and twisting. If I have her shoulder covered, I won't squeeze. Go ahead, do that escape. My legs are not gonna open up because her shoulder can't force my legs to split. Does that make sense? Okay. Wanted to throw that in there because people sometimes have a little bit of difficulty finishing the triangle. But the setup, I go for my hook sweep, I hit my hook sweep, I come in. She starts to squeeze tight because she knows I can't come up if she compresses me too much, right? Or I just feel like going for a triangle. So this foot goes on the hip. Look, I'm coming up with my hip. As I come up with my hip, I'm kind of lunging forward. Okay? And I'm going to clamp, keep that tight. Then again, my leg connects to her head, and then I can triangle here. I can finish here, okay? Or I can twist to get her on her hip. Now go to build your base, come back up, keep popping before that is. Make sense? So, again. We're here, she staggers. 1, step, shoots, and I have my triangle. But, do it. If you can't do it slow, you can't do it fast. So do it slow first, and and then you can speed it up a little bit. Make sense? All right, 1, 2. Defend the sweep. Now I can start to go for my triangle, right? But if she's laying down, there's no way. How am I going to jump a triangle? I'm too far away. So I just take my sweep, right? Or if you really want the triangle that bad, right, you go here and you start to pull. And like, now they're like, okay, I'm going to defend the sweep. And then now you kind of bait them into trying to come up. Make sense? But if she's not defending the sweep, then I just come up. 2 points. Pass the guard, go on top. Right? But most of the time, people don't like being swept. She's going to try to come back up. Right? I guess she likes being swept. So she tries to come back up. Now I can step, keep my triangle, and then make sense? Now, I should mention this. This is the only time that you're going to shoot a triangle with bringing that choking leg first. Okay? And I'll explain what I mean real quickly. I know we have to stop, unfortunately. But we're here. So let's say I'm playing spider or whatever. If I shoot this leg first, she's going to be able to posture up, and I'm never going to hit my triangle. Right? Doesn't matter how fast I am. It's going to be, not that I'll never get it, but it's more difficult. Right? Especially against someone who kind of sees it coming, and they know from here I could get triangle. So what I actually want to do is shoot the assisting leg first. So I'm going to stomp down, throw this first to break her posture. Now I can kind of triangle, pass the arm, and then set everything else up. So with that hook sweep, that's really the only time you're going to shoot that choking leg first. Right? Any other time I'm trying to break her posture, you could be standing, whatever. Right? So I'm here. Again, if I shoot this, there's no way. She's going to posture up and bring her hips in. Right? So I want to break the posture, throw this up first. Right? Then I can start to bring this across and pull her in. Now her posture's broken. Then I can pass the arm and cover the shoulder and hit my triangle. Make sense? All right. We'll have 2 more minutes to drill. We'll take a quick picture and then you got to go down for the camp photo. All right? 1, 2.